2, 1. It's the Rock Salt Musecast Experience with Aaron and Dave, and we have on the Zoom call Matt Sassy Pants or Sassano.
That's about as big as the crowd that you have on tour, right?
Dude, it's been pretty crazy, man. It's been awesome, and yeah, you guys really recreated that experience for me. So thank you.
I'm glad I could do that for you, brother.
Hey, out of the first bit of a conversation we had, we played "Not My Name." So how'd that new song come about?
For years and years, man, I've kind of wanted to write a song about people that are struggling with disabilities, and you know, there are songs like that, but a lot of them come from the place of like somebody who maybe never faced those kind of things. Like I said, I grew up with cerebral palsy and another disability called dyscalculia. So a lot of my life had to do with overcoming disabilities, and all the songs that I've heard about it sounded like Olympic themes, or they kind of they try to be overly inspirational, but it doesn't really approach the reality of what it's like to live with disabilities and be labeled. So I've wanted to write one for years. I just couldn't figure out how the heck to go about it to make it sound genuine and to really, you know, do it in a way that approached that reality. So when I got in studio with Josiah, we were planning to do 5 songs, and that was not initially one of the songs that we were planning to do. What had happened was I had another song that I was going to bring in, and it just dawned on me one night, man. I was just laying there in my bed. I'm like, you know, we talk about my disability so much, and that's kind of a repeated theme in my life. Why don't I have a song that kind of talks about that? And so I kind of wrote Josiah last minute. I'm like, hey man, I know we've got like a couple weeks, but I'm going to try my best to write a song that goes out to people with disabilities, and we're going to try to make this work. And weirdly enough, man, usually when I write a song, it takes about a month from top to bottom because I'm a really stickler for lyrics. But this thing came together in like 2 weeks. I went in with a verse and a pre-chorus, and then I was like, okay, this is the idea for the chorus, and kind of pitched some ideas to Josiah, and together we came up with that chorus. So label me and call me by my pain, but that's not my name. I'm so much more than your throwaway. That's not my name. And really that was kind of what took off as the chorus, and the song, like I said, I think we nailed it with approaching what it's like to kind of be the person with disabilities or the black sheep. I mean, it is about people with disabilities, but it also kind of goes out to the black sheep of people. You know, if people feel like black sheep to their communities, to their friends, among their peers, even in their church, man, you know, you run into people that are those black sheep that nobody really understands. So that's what I wanted to get across in Not My Name, and I think we've accomplished that.
What is how does that process come about where you hook up with Josiah Prince and you know which songs you want to bring in, and him? I mean, have you given him a tape of some of your stuff, or how does that whole I've always wondered that. How does the whole process come about when you got somebody like Josiah Prince, and you know his time's valuable, the studio time's valuable? You're like, it's got to be nerve-wracking that, you know, you're under this pressure.
Yeah, so like I had been doing, like I said, Rock on Purpose interviews and stuff like that with different bands and artists. So I've kind of established myself in the scene as not only a musician, but kind of an interviewer. So there was little pockets of people that have heard of me and done all that kind of thing. And during the time, you know, my Transcend album before Not My Name came out was produced by another guy named Colton Carley, a very talented producer here in Knoxville. And it got to the point where we just were on great terms. We're great friends, but he just got busy with life, and I was looking for another producer. So I found Josiah. Like, I know that Josiah had been working with other bands because he had won a Grizzly Award for Producer of the Year. So I got in contact with him. We set up a Skype meeting and talked, and I told him about my story. And basically we outlined that we were going to bring 5 songs in the studio. I kind of picked 5 of the ones that I thought were going to be amazing and, you know, really start things off in a great way. And, you know, basically he just, you know, what I do is I pitch him influences. So I'll say, you know, can I have a little flair of Star Set in this particular song? I want this song to kind of sound like a Linkin Park song. So what we'll do is we'll take influences and vibes and just, you know, attach my lyrics to them. And you know, it's a little bit more involved than that. Sometimes I'll take a song from another artist and write my own melodies to their progression, and then we just flip it around. You'd never be able to tell it was influenced by that. And so I'll be like, all right, I want it like Linkin Park. I want it like this and that. And so we'll be in the studio just like, you know, hashing through influences and writing little vocal melodies. Most of the time, the song, by the time it gets to Josiah, is already almost pretty much done. But we'll tweak things every here and there, and you know, I'll already go in with like a set, like, okay, this is Linkin Park Numb. Let's try to do something along those lines, but kind of add my own flair to it.
I'm just curious. I'm truly curious about this whole process. So is there ever a point where you've got a song that you just think is the greatest ever, and you lay it down and he's like, dude, I'm not feeling it, man. This is not the one.
Oh man, well, reluctantly, man, there's not been any of that at all with Josiah, man. I'm lucky that way, I guess, man, because I've heard people say, like, you know, he's changed a lot of our lyrics. He's you know, he's very dedicated to his work, but luckily, like, by the grace of God, I never got my ego deflated by Josiah.
Not yet, Dave. Not yet.
Sorry, I don't want to, you know, I'm knock on wood here. I don't want to jinx anything.
But before I got in with Josiah, a guy that really did train me and really did do the whole boot camp thing was a guy named Travis Wyrick. I recorded with him, and he is the guy that I love him to death, but it's a running joke even with you know, the Disciple guys, that he can be a stickler. So yeah, he's the guy that kind of helped me, put me through boot camp, and I'd be coming out of his booth crying tears every day, and he'd be like, so by the time I got to Josiah,
go on, get out of here, sassy pants. Go write me a good song.
Yeah. Dude, he would be that guy, man. He'd be like, I'd be like singing something, and he'd be like, really? Is that your best? You know, and so I'd be shedding tears. And
a good producer challenges you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
A good producer isn't a yes man. A good producer challenges you to be better.
Oh yeah. And when I was with Travis, like I said, man, he challenged everything. He would challenge lyrics. He would, you know, even the way I dressed. Like, I came from upstate New York not knowing anything about, you know, I used to wear these Bodie huge Osiris shoes that were like bright yellow. I walked into his studio. He's like, hey man, like, when you go perform, do you want people looking at your feet or do you want them looking at you? He's like, you got to ditch those shoes, bro. And so like it took me back to high school being bullied, but like it really
did he throw you up against the wall, man? Get in the locker.
Throw you up against the wall. He's like, man, he's like, you sound like a choir boy, man. I want you to sound like Red. He's like, you know, he's like,
that's awesome. Hey,
you see Michael Barnes up there? You know, he doesn't sound like yeah.
There is a void of techno/rock music in the Christian industry. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of those things that I kind of want to challenge, is like just doing something new, man. I love all styles of music. I love techno. Really, the techno vibe in a lot of our stuff was because, like I said, Colton Carnley, who would produce me before Josiah, was very much into EDM and techno. So when his techno and all that influence met my rock influence, we kind of put our styles together and kind of fashioned this whole new sound, which I think is really eclectic and cool. But there definitely needs to be a little bit more variety in today's Christian music, man. I mean,
definitely, because you know, like I'm a fan of I go way back. I'm a fan of Pet Shop Boys, as far as like synth music. Mm-hmm. And I'm a fan of DJ Kioki on the mixing side and all that. You know, I like some of that stuff, and I think it really would fit well with rock music. And as I said, Skillet does it great, but they just give you a taste and then they go, nope, no more for you.
Yeah,
No techno for you.
Skillet's one of those bands that, man, that they're amazing, but they've definitely got, like, you know, a lot of people speaking in their ear from labels and all these things. They're like, man, cut this, make this shorter, not that much techno. Like that, it's just I could imagine that kind of responsibility when you get into that big of a music space is a lot. But really it's for me, it was like I said, I came from a rock background with 5-piece bands and everything like that. So my electronic bend actually came when I wanted to go solo, because I noticed, like, okay, we don't have 5 guitarists up here. So if I make songs that are guitar driven all the way through, people are going to look at me like I'm funky, you know, like
Right.
so a lot of the techno influence came from, like, how do we pack the intensity of rock without using what sounds like a 5-piece band up there for the most part.
Right. Uh, when you're writing songs, do you write for yourself or do you write for what you think other people like?
I think it's a mix of both, man. So what I'll typically do, this is kind of my writing process, is I'll listen to a song that really inspires me in a big way, or a progression. So I'll listen to, you know, Bring Me the Horizon, something like that. And I'll listen to to the the instrumental, and I'll go, okay, this is kicking around these thoughts. And I'll have this huge piece of paper and I'll just start writing uh a topic that's on my mind. Like, okay, this song is about forgiveness. So I'll be like, all right, this is what makes it hard to forgive. This is, and I'll just write quotes. I'll research YouTube videos about other people's experiences with, like, you know, abandonment or whatever they're dealing with. And then I'll kind of apply it to my life as well. And I'll find the best way of making that song I'll find the best way of making that song about me, but also as universal as it can get. So it's like it casts a wide note. So like a like web. So like in Not My Name, for instance, you know, I've been labeled and bullied my entire life, but there's also those people that have gone through that same thing. It's almost like you're writing you're writing for you, but you're also a huge part of songs. And what makes them powerful is the ability of the listener to see themselves through your writing. When you're listening to a song, you care less about what the singer's going through. You're going like, oh my God, that related to me, man. That's my story right there. So it's kind of a fair mix of, like, if you write your genuine heart, but you're also aware enough to, like, cast your web out there, people will go, oh my God, like, I've been labeled. Oh my God, like, I feel so numb. Linkin Park, you know?
Right.
And so it's a mix of staying true to your experience, but also considering that there's a huge amount of people that may feel the same way.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a little writing 101.
Well, you talked about you went into the studio for 5 new songs. When are the fans going to be able to hear those new tunes?
Okay, so Not My Name just was released on November 19th, and you can go and stream that on Spotify. I'm always pushing people to go and check it out on Spotify. I'm trying to up my listenership on there. Dear God will be the next single that we release. There's not a definitive date yet, but that song will probably be second on the roster. And that song is basically a song about when I was going through my dark times and, you know, facing a lot of the isolation and disabilities. And even I was raised in a pastor's home where there was a lot of abuse going on. So I would be that kid that would just be sitting up in his room and just feeling really isolated. So I would write letters to God, and I would say, you know, I would vent my frustrations. I would just try to, like, get those things out there. And every letter that I wrote to God was, you know, it started with Dear God. So I wrote a song based on the letters that I wrote to God in my times of isolation and depression.
Oh,
And
wow.
that'll be the
That's pretty
next song.
cool, actually. I like that idea.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it was like a big old, like a prayer journal that I had started. And I'd be like, God, why did you, you know, you'd vent your frustrations. You would, you know, talk about, like, all these different struggles that you were going through. And I did that for a period of maybe 5 years. And really the song Dear God is a tribute to all those letters that I had written.
Wow. I'm actually looking forward to that.
It's gonna be good, man. Yeah, I kind of debuted those two. I debuted that on the tour, so I did play that song on the tour with
Cool.
Seventh Day Slumber, and a lot of people were connecting with it and everything. So it's been cool. And then the next song after that, I think I don't know if this is the order of it, but there's a song called Break the Silence that's coming out. And that's just basically talking about like in a world of everything going on right now, man, political division, you know, all these lockdowns, people start to feel like they've lost their power, man. But it really is that one voice can really ignite change. If we really understood the power of who we were as people and what we could do and our potential, we would find that we war against not flesh and blood, but of principalities and powers in that sense. But we also, like there needs to be people that are out there as Christians taking a stand and in a really big way about everything that's going on in the world. So Break the Silence will be one of those songs that comes out, and it's basically just talking about knowing who you are and knowing your power as an individual and fighting against I don't know how conspiracy you get, but globalism, man, fighting against globalism, all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the next song. Is just a self-empowering, spiritual warfare song that I hope people can connect to.
Well, it's kind of interesting. As you were saying that, this kind of started running through my head. Excuse me. I was bullied in school growing up, pretty bad. My bullies lived on each end of my street, and you mentioned it a few times because of your cerebral palsy. And to a degree, I think everybody's kind of bullied at some point in their life, but so everyone can relate, but on different levels. But it makes you, if you can persevere and get through it, it makes you tougher on the other side. You got a tougher skin, you put it behind you, you're like, when somebody says something negative to me, I'm like, whatever. I've heard worse, man. You're gonna have to come back at me much harder than that. But it ties into what you're saying, which is one voice. All you got to do is stand up for yourself, and another person's going to stand with you, and so on and so forth. And there's strength in numbers, but it starts with one.
Absolutely, man. It's like, I'm not, the whole bullying narrative in my my last song is just, it really is just about, standing up for, being that person that stands up. Like I know that for the tour, for the 7-day Slumber Tour, one of the things that people always notice about me is like I made this hoodie that I wear before the performance of Not My Name, and it has all these all these crazy terms. It says like I put like loser on the front of it, and then I put like retard on the back of it, and all these labels that people have put on me. I've put on like a hoodie and I wear during the performance of Not My Name and kind of tell the story. So yeah, like while there is bullying and while that's something that we need to address, there also I admire people that can persevere through it, because I've obviously been one of those people, and the stronger you can be, man, and the more persevering you can be, it makes it better. And I know for a lot of the people in the disabled community, I developed that sense of humor, but for a lot of them, man, they'd get picked on and it would devastate them.
Yeah.
And so for the strong people out there, man, we need to stand up for the people that are being disenfranchised and things like that. It takes that strong person to just stand up and say, hey man, this isn't going to fly.
Right. And we got a different kind of bully nowadays. It's cancel culture.
Absolutely, man. I got banned from TikTok permanently, for, I don't even know what I did, but I think I'd posted a song. I posted a song and it encouraged a stream of conspiracy people, and I got banned on TikTok. They didn't even give me a warning. They just were like, you're off here right now. So I've been canceled.
Yeah.
Sassy Pants is canceled.
I'm in Facebook jail. So I have, I can I can see on Facebook, but I can't do anything on Facebook. And I'm a repeat offender. This is my third time in the joint.
Oh
So.
man, me and you go way back, dude. We have our prison stories. Dude, I was so nervous about releasing a single, Not My Name, because during that time, I had a 60-day ban, and I was like, hopefully by the time I release this single, they'll let me out of the old Facebook prison.
Yeah.
And so I was crossing my fingers and praying and saying, "Let's go, Brandon," the whole time. I was.
Yeah, you know, I can't even post our last interview on our Facebook page because I'm locked. You know, it's like, sorry guys, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like what I said. So
It's been crazy, man, seeing how they can do that now. It's just like, I mean, back in the day, you could find conspiracy video. You know, I always put some conspiracy in quotes, but you could find videos on that stuff all the time, and they've just locked a whole bunch of YouTube out. They've really just tried to clean us out.
I was saving this story, you know, for another break, but I'll tell it since we're on the subject. They hit me with, now when I made this comment, part of me went, "You really shouldn't say that. You're probably gonna get in trouble." And I went, do it anyways. So this one I probably had the hand slap coming, but the other two I definitely didn't. So the first one was there was a news story, and this was, I don't know, 8 months ago, something like that, of a pilot who was flying out of San Francisco, and he went on a little bit of a rant about liberals, and he couldn't get out of San Francisco fast enough because of the crazy liberals there. And he said Californians are just weird. And I, being a native Californian, I just said, well, he's not wrong. Californians are weird. Oh, Facebook jail.
Oh
I was
man,
like, seriously? And I'm like, I'm quoting the story. All right. So another the second time was I posted a picture of you know, the Dr. Teeth band from the Muppets.
Oh yeah.
And someone asked who the drummer was, and I said one word: animal. Harassment and bullying. And I went,
oh my God,
are you kidding me? It's a children's show.
You've been targeted, Dave.
I know. So they're watching me, Aaron. So this time, I and like I said, it's just me being a joker, but and seeing if I could get a rise out of people, and I did. Which is some news agency posted a story with the headline that says, "What is the best way to thwart porch pirates?" And my response was 2 words: shoot them. And
oh man,
hey, don't ask the question if you don't want the answer. That's the simplest way to fix the problem. You shoot a couple of porch pirates, they're gonna stop doing that.
Dude, it's crazy because there is no nuance that you can do anymore. Like my stepdad, we live on a place close to this place called Rifle Range, right? So my stepdad was posting a location of a place called Rifle Range on Craigslist, and he got banned from Craigslist because it picked up the word rifle. It's like, I cannot believe how crazy we've become as a society with the banning and all these things.
And now I want to qualify here, because I don't want to lose my show on Spotify. I'm not encouraging anyone to shoot anyone.
No.
It was a joke.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's great to see people kind of finally, you know, waking up and, you know, to the truth, man. And
hey, you know, freedom of speech works both ways, and it only works if you're offended.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, that's really the only way freedom of speech works, if you're offended.
Absolutely, man. And that's what it was founded by. Like, a lot of people think like, oh, the freedom of speech is, you know, the ability to talk about the weather. But no, man, it's the ability to talk about very controversial things. And and, you know, stir up a dialogue. You know, you need to do that. And, you know, there needs to be nuance. Like me getting up on stage with a big old hoodie that says retard on it is meant to point out the fact that, you know, people live under labels every day. And and sadly, a lot of people don't have that sense of humor anymore, or
Right.
that sense of
Well,
irony to go like, oh, there's a bigger message here. Like
I
he's
can
not
tell
saying,
I could tell you right now, if my wife saw that, she would go out of her mind, out
oh
of her
wow,
mind,
yeah,
because she did a lot of work with Easter seals and developmentally disabled people and that sort of
Yeah.
thing, and that is, you know, that's just one of the words you don't say around her.
yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, I've also worked in developmentally disabled homes and stuff, along with just being, you know, labeled that for a lot of my life, because I went to special ed classes, and so far everybody on the 7-day slumber tour understands, you know, the irony and where my heart's coming from. But there's also those people on social media, when I post that, they'll be like, why do you do this? Why do you have that on your shirt? You know, and it's just like, dude, people live under labels every day. And I'm taking what people perceive as a weakness and trying to make it into a strength, you know. And you know, that's kind of just been my thing this tour. Like I introduced the song. I have that hoodie with all the insults on it. And then sometimes I'll forget that I have it on. So after the tour date, I'll stop at like a gas station or something. And then the cashier's looking at me like I just punched her mother. I'm like, I'm sorry. This is it's not what it looks like.
And then you turn around to walk out, and they start throwing cups at your back because they see the R word on the back of your Get out of here.
Oh man.
I've been canceled down there for, you know, the fill-up station.
Yeah, right. Don't come back.
Oh man.
I think people are much more friendly in Tennessee than that, though.
Yeah, it's been great down here. Like I said, I've moved here since 2014. And that's the one thing I did notice when I came from New York. I mean, everybody's awesome down there and I've got my friends, but in Tennessee, they have that hospitality, that Southern hospitality. Right. So I'd just be walking along and people were like, hey, darling, how you doing? Like, I was just like, wow, this is just a much nicer place. They're so cordial down here.
Yeah. And I noticed that when I was in Texas, that, you know, that Southern hospitality, everybody's just really friendly, even if they don't like you. And you can kind of tell when they don't like you. I mean, you know, I'm sure I got spotted with my California accent and all that, but, you know, I still got the, hey, hun, how are you? You know,
you dirty liberal.
Hey, I am not a liberal.
Yeah.
I'm one of the crusaders here in California.
Yeah, even though we live in the communist country of California, we are trying to escape.
I'd like to go to Tennessee.
What do you call it when you leave a country?
A refugee?
Yeah.
We want to go into exile.
Yeah. So, but Matt, you're going back on tour.
Absolutely, man.
Some more dates with 7-Day Slumber. How can they find out about you? Are you Facebook, Instagram?
Yes. Yep. Facebook and Instagram. Matt Sassano on Facebook, and Matt Sassano Music on Instagram. Also, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel and stream me on Spotify. Push that follow button, and there'll be more singles coming out in the coming months.
Yeah, it's always a help. I say it every week. Hit the follow button, hit the like button, hit the share button. It all helps. And one thing I noticed this morning, because I hit the follow button this morning, I was on Spotify, and down there at the very bottom, under, you know, the little description, is the link to your Instagram and your Facebook. And I clicked on that, and boom, there I was on Facebook.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I've also got a personal page too, Matthew Sassy Pants. So, I mean, I'm a personable person. If you want to chat with me on there, I'm always open to that too.
All right, cool.
And if he walks into your local gas station wearing his.
Yeah, don't throw anything
don't
at
throw
him.
anything at him. So, hey, thank you, Matt, for being on the show today. It was a fun conversation, and it was nice getting to know you and listening to your music.
Hey, man, guys, thanks for inviting me. As a new artist, this means a lot. And yeah, keep spreading that word. It was an honor to meet you guys. And I hope to see you, not with my crazy hoodie on, but hopefully just, at a show sometime. All right.
All
man.
right.
You guys take care.
We're hang on the line a minute. We're gonna do another song here, right?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Which one?
Enough.
Enough?
Oh, cool.
Enough.
All
Yeah.
right. Never enough. Enough.
Enough on the Rock Salt Musecast Experience.